Guess what we're doing today? Draping! I ordered this absolutely stunning fabric from Zaloof. I mean, look at this. Like, oh my gosh. Anyway, my best friend's bachelorette trip is coming up and I want to make a dress for it, so that's what we're gonna do today. This is the sketch that I've come up with, so let's get into draping. Okay guys, I wanted to get a little bit more detailed with this video, starting off with my draping tape. I prefer draping with tape instead of ribbon. I ordered a pack of 1/8 inch wide draping tape off of Amazon, but I know a lot of people use washi tape too. And I'm taping out all of my style lines, making sure to be very precise because this is essentially where your sketch is coming to life. Okay, moving on to the fabric work. This is very important. If you were draping a piece that is going to be on the fold, like the center front or sometimes the center back, make sure you fold in the edge of the fabric that is on the center line in by an inch at least. Doing this ensures that that center front line is on grain and it is not being warped, so you have a nice straight line to reflect your pattern piece over. Now we are marking. I like to mark intersections. I like to mark center fronts or waist points. I always mark the bust apex and I always mark where the dart is. You have to mark the dart legs and where you put the pins in for your dart, or else you will lose that when you go to truing. And now we are truing. So take your ruler, take your French curves, line them up as carefully as possible and find what I like to call the line of best fit between all of your markings. I promise you there is one, so just flip that ruler over however many times you need to find that best positioning. Then we're going to trim off the excess fabric about 1/2 inch to 1 inch away from the trued lines and repin that and place it back on our dress form. Please take note of this. The correct way to drape is you place your previous draped piece back on the dress form and then you drape the piece next to it using your previous drape as your reference line. However, I do not do that after this point because this fabric is already hard to see through and I want to make sure I mark exactly where the style lines are, so yeah, just remember that. Moving on to the body of the dress, and this is where we're going to start seeing some interesting stuff like drag lines and how we clip to get rid of those. So as you can see in multiple places, my fabric is being pulled and creating these lines, aka drag lines. That basically means that the garment does not fit and there is tension in a place where there should not be tension. So that is when we take our scissors and we cut into the fabric to relieve that tension. We're essentially creating more slack in that piece of fabric and you will cut until you start seeing those drag lines fade away. However, do not cut past the style line. You can cut up to the style line, but do not pass the style line because if you do, you'll have to redrape your piece. A quick reminder to always be aware of the direction of your grain while you are draping and to not aggressively pull or yank your fabric. We are softly moving it side to side and up and down. Draping is essentially the repetition of placing your fabric, pinning, clipping, replacing, repinning, reclipping over and over and over again until you have a nice, flat, smooth surface. Now we check our drape by either pinning or sewing all of our pieces together. You then place your drape back on the dress form and you look at the style lines and look for any drag lines. As you can see, this area of my drape has drag lines and that means the bust is too tight. However, my bust is slightly smaller than my dress forms, so I know that this will fit my body better than it will fit the dress form. If you are not proficient in draping, please do not do this. Make sure your drape fits your dress form perfectly. But that is my crash course to draping. I hope you learned something and I will see you next time for prototyping.